Karen Ellery Jones, and welcome to Karen Ellery Jones Presents. Welcome Richard Russo and Kate Russo. I know you like to go by Rick, so welcome to Sandwich. I know you've been here a few times now, and welcome back.
Always great to come back.
I know, it's a great little town. We're going to talk about your newest book, Intervention, and it all started over hot pepper.
That's right. A hot pepper?
A hot pepper, right? Tell me about this.
The Padron, the Padron, yeah,
pepper.
the Padron pepper, yeah. My wife Barbara and I had gone on a cruise that ended up in Barcelona, in Barcelona, Spain, and we got eating tapas over there, as one will, given the opportunity. And the one, we had a lot of different things, but the one thing we had with just about every meal was those beautiful little bitty Padron peppers that you eat almost like popcorn. They come encrusted in sea salt, and oh my God, they're good.
So you fell in love with them?
Fell in love with them, and when we got back, we started thinking, well, you have to be able to buy Padron peppers somewhere in the United States, you know, Whole Foods or somewhere. So as soon as we got back home, Barbara went on the internet and brought up Padron peppers on Google, and guess what? Of course, the first place that was listed as a place where you could buy
was
Padron
your favorite online seller?
was our favorite online bookstore, Amazon.com, which was selling books and Padron peppers and flat screen TVs and just about everything else that can be.
And if you buy all three together, you get the 40% discount.
That's right. That's right. And shipping is free.
Did you ever buy those peppers?
No. We love them, but we figured we'd go back to Spain if it came to that. But this book, actually, Interventions, comes out of that world. People have said about this book that it's an anti-e-book. It's not really an anti-e-book, but it is a book that comes out of a changing world, a world that's becoming increasingly a world of ones and zeros, of things that can be digitized in Kate's world, in the art world, in her husband Tom's world. Tom is also an artist, but a sculptor and a photographer, and a sometime bookmaker as well. Stitching kind, not the betting kind. Just to be clear. And of course, my world as an author is becoming increasingly digitized. And I also work in film, and of course there too, we're in a world in which people who write and sell books, people who make movies, people who take pictures with cameras, even in the artists, all artists in all sorts of ways are part of this larger world that not only involves what we do, but involves Padron peppers and everything else, and you know, 3 or 4, 5, 6, 10 monolithic companies that make movies and sell books and make refrigerators and sell Padron peppers are taking over the landscape. So we decided we would do a small book with a small publisher, printed in America, on sustainable paper, and just make kind of a throwback book. And Kate's, and it's Kate's art, I think, is really the centerpiece of this book.
I looked at it, it was just beautiful.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Yep.
Now, is this the first time that you've collaborated together?
No, we've worked together we've worked together on a couple of different things.
Yeah,
Kate, you can start off on this.
Well, I mean, this is the main thing. We've done a couple of. We really started when I was a teenager, and he was writing the character of Tick Roby, which was based a lot on my experiences with my art class at the time. So unknowingly, I was helping him write this book. We were actually sitting down writing it together, and he stole it from me and for his own uses at the time. And then so we stopped collaborating for a long time after that. And then actually, when that Old Cape Magic came out, I did a series of broadsides for him of a seagull. Seagull sitting on an urn and a seagull casting a shadow of a woman. So specific things from the book that we gave to bookstores that have been particularly good to my dad over the years. So that was the first real visual image word sort of collaboration that we did, where he basically told me exactly what he wanted, and I reproduced it for him. But this was the first time we really came together, and I did my thing and he did his, and we just crossed our fingers that they would work together. So,
wow.
yeah.
No, there were,
Yeah.
at this time there were no instructions. Before,
Yeah.
with that old Kate Magic, I gave Kate a couple of ideas and said,
Yeah.
can you do this? And for this, we very specifically did not want to do that. I did not
Yeah.
want to influence Kate in any way. I was just really interested in what she would come up with. So in the
It
case
must
of
have been exciting then for you to see.
it was thrilling.
Yeah, to see
it
the
was,
artwork.
It
And,
was wonderful. The first story that we did was a story that Kate had actually not read because it came out when she was in England, and I gave it to her. There's a part of the story that harkens back to actually a childhood poem that was part of my childhood, part of the Robert Louis Stevenson's Child's Garden of Verses, and of course I read that to Kate and her sister Emily when they were little, trying to terrify them at night. So this poem was central to the story, and I knew when I gave Kate the story that she would respond to both the story but also this poem from her childhood, and I was just dying to see what she would do with it. Because I didn't even say draw the horseman. From the horseman from the poem, I just said, here's the story, do with it what you will. And the painting that she did when she brought the painting over and said, here's what I've done. That was the moment we knew we had a book here. Up to that point, we'd just been talking about the possibility of collaborating. When I saw what she had done, how easily she had slipped into her father's psychosis and his character's
Yeah.
psychosis, even worse psychosis, and how she found the very center of that story and its imagery. That was when we knew we had a real collaboration.
mm-hmm. Now there's 4 short stories in a novella and 3 stories. Is that right?
Yeah.
You cannot buy it on Amazon, right?
You can.
Well, actually, you can. What you can't get is an electronic version.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just, because this was an art book and because it's when your viewers have a chance to really look at it in a store, you'll see that Kate's husband Tom actually did the design of the book, and it's just such a beautiful touch.
It is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Just
there's a lovely slipcase, and each of the volumes is individually bound, and the paper is wonderful, and it just has a really tactile quality to it, which fortunately, I guess, cannot be reduced to ones and zeros. So there will be no electronic version of it to be sold anywhere, ever on this book.
Now you've been a champion of independent booksellers.
Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
And I was reading when I was doing some research that so many booksellers, I think you are their #1 author, meaning that they really feel that you have a vested interest in them and vice versa.
Well, we go back.
Support them.
We go back a long way.
Yeah.
My first book, Mohawk, was published in '86. I went to independent booksellers probably in 8-10 different cities, and they brought me into their store as if I was someone important, and they set up their chairs, and when nobody showed up at my readings, the employees of the store sat in those chairs, and we got to know each other, and when I left the store, they sold my books, and they sold the books of an unknown author. And with each book, I've gone back to many of those same stores, those that have survived, first Barnes and Noble, and now those that are going to survive Amazon. And we have a long history. They've made my career, and I'm trying to do what I can to make sure that they're not exterminated by the most recent juggernaut to come down the pike. And so this has, I don't want to call it a crusade, and I don't want to scold, but it is independent booksellers that teach the reading public who's next. Anybody can sell my books now. Amazon can sell my books now. My reputation is made, but it wasn't made by Barnes and Noble, and it wasn't made by Borders, and it certainly wasn't made by Amazon. It was made by, tonight we're going to be in one of the great bookstores here on Cape Cod, Titcombs and Sandwich, and it's bookstores like that that not only made my reputation, but are making the reputations of young writers all over the country. There's a difference between browsing and searching. You go on a search engine to find something you already know exists. You go to Titcombs to find out what you don't know exists, and to talk to somebody who will know about it.
Right.
And that's the next important generation of writers coming along, whose names are not household yet.
All right, super. Well, I'll let you get on to your talk tonight. Thank you so much for chatting with me before your talk tonight. Thank you so much.